Hi, Professor. I have a question. Are we doing our finals online or in person?
Yeah, final exam is an open book exam, and you do it online at home.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Why did you ask? Okay, you just wanted to know. Okay, I can see. All right, guys. Based on what Miss,
Professor, I have a question as well.
give me a minute. Okay, based on what you and Miss Dacosta, I'm now assuming that you can hear me. Okay, go ahead with your questions, sir.
Okay, are we able to do the four assignments just to resubmit now or not yet?
No, you are actually remember I said second week, but I recommend tomorrow. I want to grade the last class work, which
Mm-hmm.
is here, so that you can see your grade on it before you can now make the request. But
Okay,
if,
so we have to
but if,
email
but
you
if,
the four
but if you want
assignments.
to send it today, fine. So long as you are sure those four, so long as your attendance is more than is 70% or more, and so long as you are sure that you don't have to request for another one, because if you finish the four, you cannot request another one.
How do
Okay.
how do we how do we request it? That's my
Send me an
question.
email, leave the name of the four assignments you want me to give you. Then I will reply you your email. I've already started replying to some people that sent me. So when I request, in that reply, I will put the questions that you need to solve using Excel, and then your grade on that will be used to populate your grade on those assignments.
Okay. Question:
Mhm.
Are you still grading test one?
Yeah, I'm gonna grade it, yes.
Okay.
I'll grade it this week. Test one, I'm gonna finish grading it this week. By Sunday, it should be, it will all be done.
Okay.
Mm. All right, guys. Today, I want to start by taking you to your course shell. The course shell. Next time I open this, it will not show up. Let me see if I can see it from here. That's the course shell right there. So I'm taking to your course shell, which is right here. No assignments, no classwork today. Just finish week 14 assignments. When I say week 14 assignments, actually, I wanted to say week 13 assignment. That is last week assignments, which is this one here, homework two, which I have not put in yet. So I'm gonna upload it as soon as we finish today. Then classwork eight, if you have not done so already. Uh, I think that is the one I wanted to grade, the classwork eight. Yeah, that's the one that I wanted to grade. Oh, it's classwork six and classwork eight. Yeah, two of them I want to grade. So if you haven't done so already, and just go and finish them. Uh, let's begin. Today our focus is on decision-making models. And you can see the presentation that we used for this class right here. Under Module 9, you see the presentation and the spreadsheet. Yeah. So decision-making models, we'll be focusing more on two areas, decision tree and decision table. And excuse me. Hmm. As you already know, our operation managers, who somebody came in now. Okay. As you already know, operation managers, they um they make decisions every day, every week, can be anytime. And I'll put it in this way, in a plain terms. Uh, good decision, the kind of decision you make can determine your success or failure. Not only in operation management, in every other thing that we do, which means that to a very large extent, the success and or the failure that we experience as individuals or as managers in a corporations depends a lot on the quality of the decision we make. So for the operation manager, then it becomes very important that they overcome uncertainty, or they make a decision that will help them to achieve their goal under a situation, in some cases, a situation of uncertainty. So overcoming that uncertainty and making the right decision becomes a big challenge for many operation managers. But in these days and age, when we have data everywhere, we have data floating around. If the operation manager can leverage those data that we have, especially the one that are reliable, because there's a many of the data that are not reliable. For example, a lot of things you see on the social media are just emotions, innuendos, not really reliable. Now, sometimes they can be reliable, like if something happens somewhere and somebody was able to take a photo of it and post it for social media, uh, that one is, can maybe reliable. But now even that one too can be questionable, it can be questionable too, because these days they're using AI to create a lot of, even movie. I just learned that you can use AI by typing a simple instruction in a few sentences. It can create a movie, generate a real movie. Like you know how it takes a lot of work to do a video in YouTube, but AI can just do it with just two sentences. So even that most one is being shared in social media, you don't know whether it is generated or not. So until it is validated, I think what I'm trying to say here is that in as much as we have a lot of data floating around, many of them are fake. Now, this will bring me back to what we are saying. For a operation manager, making that decision under uncertainty can be a big challenge. Okay. Can be a very big challenge for them. Now, to be on a good side in terms of making the right decision, the operation manager can follow these steps. A few steps. The first one is to clearly define the problem and the factors that influence it. You must find what problem you're trying to solve and what factors affect that problem or influences it or affect it. Affect it. I think affect it is the better word. Now, develop specific and measurable objectives. Okay. Very specific ones. Then develop the model. When I say model, I mean a relationship between the objectives and the variables, which are measurable quantities. They have to be measurable quantities. If they cannot be measurable, if they're not quantitative data sets or data, you have to figure out a way to quantify them. Then evaluate each alternative solution based on its merits and drawbacks. Then select the best alternative and then implement and evaluate the decision and set a timetable for completion. These are the things that the decision making models can help you with. So this brings us to the fundamentals of decision making. Now, all decisions that operation managers make, or every other decision at all, faces two factors. Well, I won't say factors. I'll call it. Those decisions are made under two scenarios. Or I'll put it in this way. You have to factor in two things. One is the alternatives to that decision. And then the second one is the prevailing state of nature. Now, alternative simply means a course of action or strategy that may be chosen by the decision maker. For example, I wrote here not carrying an umbrella to tomorrow. One example, it can be not you are deciding not to come to class today and instead to go to another function and so on and so forth. Or the state of nature can be the what favors that decision or and what does not favor it. In plain terms, it can be defined as an occurrence or a situation over which the decision maker has little or no control. Example, things like weather. So each decision you make have alternative, and each alternative is affected by state of nature. One of them might be favorable, other one might not be favorable. Okay. Now, today we'll be focusing on two decision-making methods or models. One is one called the decision trees. A decision tree simply means a simple diagram that help operation managers to make choices. I can say this. Each branch of the tree shows a possible decision outcome. And it also shows the probability that are assigned to each of those decision outcome and result, especially in the light of the state of nature that is facing. And so, as you can see on the screen, this to present a manager's decision alternative, we can use this decision tree. This is literally the symbols we used when we start drawing decision tree. The symbol, the box symbol, otherwise known as decision nodes. It is from this that the alternative may be selected. Then a state of nature can now be those the circle represent the state of nature, which can be favorable or not favorable. I will show you an example with this. This question here says, guest product company is investigating. Excuse me, give me 1 minute. 1 minute. Excuse me.
Excuse me, I had to join late. This is Elena Scott. Can I get my name put
Yeah,
down for
I just
attendance?
checked it now.
Thank you.
So it said, gas product companies investigating the possibility of producing and marketing backyard storage sheds. Undertaking this project will require the construction of either a large or a small manufacturing plant. The market for each of these products, that is the storage shed, could be either favorable or unfavorable. Now, Gates can also decide not to build a product, a new line of product at all. Now it says construct a decision tree for the guest problem. Now, the example I gave here, you can see from here the decision tree for this scenario. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So you can see from here the circle for the state of nature. This is decision tree. You can decide to construct a large plant. Now, if it does, you can see the state of nature. The circumstance might be favorable for him or not. If you decide to construct a small plant, it might be favorable or not. Or you can decide to do nothing, in which case there's nothing like favorable or not favorable. Now, if based on the kind of data he has, based on the kind of data he has, the manager there, if you can assign probabilities to these two outcomes for each decision. When I say this, I mean like construct a large plant, assign probability to the favorable outcome plus the amount it will cost. And then unfavorable outcome and amount. Do it for the both constructing large plants, constructing small plant, and doing nothing. You can be able to figure out which one is best decision by multiplying the amount and then the corresponding probabilities, and so on and so forth. Now, so that's it. You can see that it looks like a tree. That's why we call it decision tree. And so that I didn't assign probability to this. So I just want to show you how it looks for this one. You just say construct the decision tree. Now, if you look at this, like I showed in the figure of that previous page, you can see that it has 3 branches, large plants, and I show you the mode already. So that's what I was explaining here in case if you're reading this presentation. Now, so now the next one we'll be looking at is the decision tables. Now, for decision table, it's almost the same thing that is almost something similar with that, but this time around we present it in the form of a table. So it helps operational manager to analyze decision alternatives and state of nature. Like I was saying on the other one, I assign it the probability based on the information you have. But that will lead you to developing a decision payoff table. So for the company. So for any alternative and a particular state of nature, there is always a consequence or outcome. And that outcome usually expressed in monetary value. So that it is called conditional value. So now all the alternatives, I'm going to give you an example with question 2, like this one here. Yeah, let's use question 2 to illustrate that. Question 2 says, let me show you I've seen it. Guess Products Company is investigating the possibility of producing and marketing backyard storage sheds. Undertaking this project will require the construction of either a large or a small manufacturing plant. The market for the product produced, that is the storage shed, could be either favorable or unfavorable. Guest may decide, he has the option of not developing the new product line at all. Now, the company now wishes to organize the following information into a table and to choose the best decision. Now, I'm going to read out the information he has now. With a favorable market, that is, if the market is favorable, a large facility will give Get's products a net profit of 180,000. Okay, and then a net loss. Sorry, if the market is favorable, a large facility will give Get's products a net profit of $200,000. If the market is unfavorable, a $180,000 net loss will occur. A small plant will result in a net profit of $100,000 in a favorable market, but a net loss of $20,000 will be encountered if the market is unfavorable. Build a decision table for Guess Products, and then choose the right decision. Now, if somebody is making this decision based on emotion, a net profit of 200,000 will be attractive to that person. Now, they may not be looking at the loss of 180,000. The net profit of 100,000, of course, 200,000 is much better than 100,000. So many people make this. Many managers, as a matter of fact, many of them make decisions based on emotion, and that's why we sometimes have, especially small businesses. That's why we say we have many of them, almost 80%, going out of business within 10 years. Anyway, let us so look at the table right here. You can see the alternatives. The favorable and unfavorable. For construction large plants, under the state of nature, if for under favorable, if the condition is favorable, he make 200,000. If it's not, he loses 180,000. For small plants, if the condition is favorable, you make 100,000. If it's unfavorable, you lose. Now, this might look easy to hear because we have only two decisions to make, and because the numbers are too close. But sometimes, I mean, the numbers are too. I was not too close. Too I will say this past. I hope that is right, the correct term to use. But in reality, sometimes numbers will be too close. You confuse on what to do. In that case, that's why we use what we called expected monetary value formula. So I'm going to use it for this decision. I'm going to place it in Excel. I will take you to Excel so you can see where I put it. The information. Okay, you can see right here. Favorable, unfavorable. The probabilities. Let me get the formula and put it right here so you can watch as I do it. Formula is payoff times probability plus payoff times probability for the two states of nature. Okay? So I'm going to put it right here so you can be looking at it. I'm going to add it as in a text shapes. Okay, I'm going to put it right here. Okay. Expected monetary value. Payoff times the probability of the payoff. Okay. So let's do this for excuse me. Let's do this for gets. I think that's the name of the I think that's the name. Gets products. Okay, gets products. I'll type it right here. Gets products. Yeah. All right. So now this is the I can either build a large plan or a small plan. These are the state of nature, favorable, unfavorable, and this is the probabilities. I think I had the probabilities in the question too. Okay. Okay. It is given in the okay, it wasn't given on the question, but I gave it to you here in the one I have in the presentation. So I place the probabilities right here for 60% that condition will be favorable and 40% that it will not be favorable. So with this, we can now calculate the expected monetary value. And the one that have the highest expected monetary value is the one we're going to choose. Okay? So let's do it now. All right, so just put the equal sign here for the, oh, sorry, a mistake. For the large plants, you have favorable, make $200,000 times the probability that it will be favorable, which is 0.6, close parenthesis, plus, remember we're using this formula here. For the unfavorable situation, he loses 180 times the probability that it will occur, which is this. That gives us once you press the enter and the enter key to give you the answer right away. And this, of course, is dollars. So you can change to dollars. Now, repeat the same thing for the small plants. We got for favorable condition, you make a net profit of 100,000 times the probability that it will occur plus the unfavorable, he loses 20,000. See, notice that I put negative there to show that he loses 20,000 times the probability that it will occur, which is this one here, and press the enter key, which is 52,000. Then if it does nothing, you just put 0 there. It does nothing, it doesn't make nothing. So now you can see that this one is small plant is give you highest EMV, which is expected monetary value. So that is the one that we chose. That is the best decision to make on this in this case. Any question on this?
No.
Okay, good. Excellent. Excellent. Now, so alternative, every other thing we do, because we're focusing only on this decision tree and decision tree and the decision table tonight today. So there are that when I say state of nature, favorable and not favorable, I'm also implying what you see on the screen right now, which says that the types of decision people make depend on how much knowledge or information they have about the situation. So in each decision making, there are 3 scenarios you can see, or what you call the environment. One is decision making under risk, which is the most common one. And that is what makes decision making even more interesting, because under risk, if you're able to figure out, manage risk very, very well, you will come out really having a better outcome. Decision making under uncertainty and decision making under certainty. Okay. Now, if you're making a decision under risk, now this is the most common one because there's always a risk. So for that, the good news is that we have probabilities what we can use to make, to help us, or we can figure out the probability by ourselves based on what we have with us. Now, like these days, there are data sets everywhere that you can use. I mean, good ones. For example, the weather. There's a National Weather Service that have forecast of weather almost the whole nation. So several possible states of nature may occur, and each of them will have some kind of assumed probability. And one of the most important things to remember is that the state of nature must be mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive, and their probabilities must all sum to 1. We just came in now. I think it's him. Yeah, it's him. So given this the decision table example that I just gave you in the previous slides, and also given that a decision table with conditional values and probability assessment for all the state of nature, if you have that, then you can calculate the expected monetary value for each alternative. And excuse me, and when I say excuse me, when I say expected monetary value, I mean the average outcome you expect from a decision when considering the different possible scenarios and their individual probabilities. Okay. So I've already given you the formula in short form, but this is the formula for calculating the expected monetary value. For each situation, you just multiply the payoff times the probability. Now let us try a second question, which is question 3. It says Stella Yuanhua is considering the possibility of opening a small dress shop on Fairbanks Avenue, which is a few blocks from the university. She has located a good mall that attracts students. Her options are good to open, are to open a small shop, or to open a medium-sized shop, or no shop, to open no shop at all, to just stop opening any shop at all. So the market for a dress shop can be good average, or bad. Excuse me. The probabilities for each of these three possibilities are 0.2 for good market, 0.5 for an average market, and 0.4 for bad market. The net profit or loss for the medium size or small shop for the various marketing conditions are given in the table. I'll show you the table in a minute. It says determine the alternative that provide the greatest expected monetary value. This is the table right here. Excuse me. So you can compute the EMV. Okay. Again, I put this if you want to do it manually, you can see I did it manually here as well. But we are using Excel, so I'm just gonna take it to Excel. Where I put those things. Okay, right here. Here. So let's calculate the expected monetary value for these things. I think I'm gonna put the formula here again for you. Okay. Expected monetary value. Okay, look at 14. Okay. Make it a little bit bigger. Right, that's better now. So now let's calculate the expected monetary value for this and then choose the best decision for her. Medium shop. So the alternative they gave us, small shop and medium shop. Okay, or no shop. Okay. No shop. So you have the probabilities and everything in. Look at the probability 0.2, 0.5, and 0.3 for the state of nature. So now let's do this one. For the small shop equals this, which is the net profit times probability, close the parenthesis, plus average when the state of nature is average, then times the probability of that plus the last state of nature, which is bad. So you click on, in that case, he loses $40,000. This times the corresponding probability, which is 0.3, and then press the enter key. So of course, this is the expected monetary value from that if you choose that option. Now for the second option, he will have do the same thing, equals, if the condition is good, you make a net 100,000 times the probability of that. Okay, plus the medium times the corresponding probability. Okay, plus the bad, if the condition is bad, he loses 60,000 multiplied by the probability of occurrence of that one, and press the enter key. 19,000. Okay. So if it doesn't, if you decide not to open the shop, it's just going to be 0 there. So the best scenario you can see, the one that have the highest EMVs, medium shop, and that's the one she'll take. Okay. And I wrote it here as well because I did it in my presentation with a calculator. And I wrote here, as you can see, the best decision is to build a medium-sized shop. So because of that, have the highest largest EMV. Any question, guys, on that? Any question? Okay.
Do we always have to select the choice that has the highest EMV?
Yes, yes. That's what you are trying to feel, because that would be the best choice for you. That's why it has the highest EMV, given the uncertainty and the risk available, prevailing uncertainty and the risk. You know.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Now look at another scenario. This is a T-shirt salesperson at a David Bowie concert tour, right? That's how you say that. He created a table of conditional values for the various alternatives. The alternatives are stocking, having a large stock or a small stock, and then average stock, and the various state of nature, which is the size of the crowd. Will it be big, average, or small? So actually, this one is not big. It's not dollar. It shouldn't be dollar anyway. I think just the crowd. Okay, the probability associated with the state of nature are 0.3 for big demand, 0.5 for average demand, and 0.2 for a small demand. Determine the alternative that provide the greatest expected monetary value. Okay, I would say try this one as a practice at home. Yeah, because just follow the same method. Just for your practice, not for grading. So see if you can, because in the exam, I may ask you this, something like this. Even in the second test 2, which I will put and make available by weekend. Yeah. So practice it, and you can watch this video too. That will help you to get a lot on that. Let's look at the next one, which is involve a company. Say Coast Charis. Now, Coast Charis company, the Coast Charis company is considering a new consumer product. This is a different way they can be asked, because sometimes you will not be given the probability. That's why I wanted us to do this one. Okay, because this one tweaked the question a little bit. It's a Coast Charis company is considering a new consumer product. Managers believe that there is a probability of 0.4 that the young company is a competitor to Coast Charis. A young company will come out with a competitive product. If Coast Charis add an assembly line for the product, and the young company does not follow it with a competitive product, then Coast Charis expected profit is $40,000. I mean, if the competitor did not bring out a new product that is similar, which is not always, because once you make something and you are making money from it, people are watching you. They can go back and modify what you did and make it even better and bring it in. Like it happened to all this smartphone we use today. I think BlackBerry was the first company that brought in the first smartphone. Called BlackBerry, right? I think it's BlackBerry from Canada. They call it actually, the phone was called BlackBerry, I think. Then Apple went back to the drawing board, modified it, put a lot of features, including the internet, and bring out iPhone. Then Google and the other one, Android, started coming out. You see? And it happened in different ways. There's another company, I think all this social media thing, it started with news group, they call it in those days. I'm talking about like 2000, 2001, 2000, they call it news group. From there, it started exploding. Now, MySpace came out. Nobody hears. Some of you may not even know what MySpace is, because Facebook knocked it out of business. Not out of business, but when it came out, it became like nobody want to use. But well, people are still local musicians still use it, MySpace. But anyway, all I'm trying to say that when they brought MySpace out, Facebook looked everything on MySpace, find the area they can improve, and then they went back to the table, drawing table, fix everything, bring it out. So people now move from MySpace to Facebook, and so on and so forth. Now, as Facebook was becoming popular, other ones started coming up, Instagram and WhatsApp. Now, Facebook know that these two we can eat their lunch. So what Facebook did, they bought WhatsApp and they bought Instagram. So that will tell you, give you an idea of how. So with this scenario whereby Kusharis is thinking that maybe the competitor may not bring a product that will compete. The chance of that happening might be slim, unless you're not making money from that product. Anyway, let me go back to the question. Now, if Kusharis,
Purple, you get a chance. Can I ask a question?
yeah, go ahead.
So for the final exam and the test 2, are we taking it online or in person?
Both of them are open book exams. So I'll put the questions, you solve it, but you have to finish it at a particular time. You give a time to finish them and then upload it.
Oh.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right. So now, Kusaris, if Kusari will expect if Kusaris add an assembly line and the young follows with a competitive product, then Kusaris will expect a $10,000 profit instead of $40,000 profit. Now, if Kusaris add a new plant and the young does not produce competitive products, then Kusaris expect a profit of 600,000. If the young does compete for this market, Kusaris expect a loss of 100,000. So determine the expected monetary value for each of these decisions. Now, I'm going to use P to represent the probability that Kusaris, that the young will offer a competitive product. And I'm going to use 1 minus P for that. Okay. Now, remember that they give you the original probability that there is, might just believe that there is a probability of 0.4. Say that the young will bring in out a competitive product. So 40% chance. So you go here. Please, if you have a question, ask me here. I don't respond to chat room when I'm teaching. Okay, this question is right here, 0.4. So that's the probability that they may not bring out a competitive product will be 0.6. Because if there's 40% chance that they are going to bring out a competitive product, then the opposite will be, okay, 40% chance that of competition. That means there's a 60% chance of no competition. So that means 1 minus P equals 1 minus 0.4. Press the enter key to give you 0.6. Okay. Now let us calculate the probabilities. No competition, competition. And for the assembly line, we have with competition, with no competition, you make 40,000. But with no competition, you make only 10,000. Right? Hold on, let me make sure I have everything. Yep, because it says here, it says if Kushari adds a new plant addition and the young does not produce a competitive product, he will make 600,000. But if the young added the compete for this market, he make only 100,000. So I'm gonna put right here. Okay. He loses 100,000. Okay, good. Assembly line. So let's calculate the expected monetary value for each of these. Equal. You can see when there's a competition, this is where he loses money. But here, let me make sure I have this one. For the assembly line, let me go back to the assembly line part of it. It says, if Kushar is an assembly line for the product, and the young does not follow with competitive products, Kushari's expected profit will now become 40,000. But if Kusharis add an assembly line as well, that means the profit will go down to 10,000. Okay, everything is good. So let us now calculate the EMV. Again, I'm going to put the formula by the side so that you can be watching the formula as I do it. Let me put it under this time around so we have enough room. Okay. Make it 20. Okay, good. Now let's do it. Let's do it. Equal payoff for assembly line with no competition times the corresponding probability plus assembly line with competition, the profit now times the corresponding probability. So when you press enter key to give you so right away 28,000. Let's repeat this for this one. New plant. If you remember what it says on new plant, take it back there. So if Kushari add a new plant and the young does not produce a competitive product, then Kushari expects a profit of 600,000. Now, if the young does compete for this market, that means if they bring a new product, which is usually the case, then a profit of Kushari to expect a loss of 100,000. Like saying, then determine the expected monetary value. And of course, remember the original probability we're given. So now, going back to our scenario here, it's going to be equal 600 for new plant with no competition, 600,000 times the corresponding probability, was it, plus loss of 100,000 for new plant with competition times the corresponding probability. Okay. So we can now press the enter key to get this done and make it okay. So even with this expected loss of 100,000, if you look at this assembly line scenario, you're not going to encounter any loss, but profit will be small. But this one, there's going to be a loss of 100,000. That means you lose 100. You look at 100,000 is loss. It's bigger. It's much bigger than 40,000 plus 10,000 for assembly line. But the maths we did here said, in as much as it's going to be $100,000 loss, it's still worth putting a new plant. Maybe because by the time it takes it takes the competition to build a new plant, you have made a lot of money, and probably the manager by then might have figured out a way to compete better with the new with whatever the young will bring out. Maybe either through lower cost and so on and so forth. But the bottom line is this: any new product or a new business line that you are doing, and you're making money from it, but it's a matter of time. People will find out what this person is doing, and he's really making a lot of money, and they're gonna just go and design something similar, add more features to it. They want a piece of the action. So that's why in my MBA classes, even some of my business, I tell them, look, if you have a business and you're not thinking 10 years ahead of the competition, you don't have it. That means you don't have a business. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. So somebody will come out and just do the same thing, cut the price, and that's it. Yeah. Anyway, any question before we round up? Hello, guys. Any question before we round up?
No, sir.
Huh? Okay, so
No.
I have one.
yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
So do we have classwork after this, and is it gonna be
No,
like this?
no, there's no classwork today.
Okay.
No.
The other question is, since you said you was gonna look at the emails and stuff, do we have to resend you the email if we already sent you one?
Oh, well, after tomorrow, if you check, because I want to grade those 2 classwork. So after tomorrow night, check here. If you find out another, let's say that your original email was only 3 assignments, right? And then after my grading this one, and you find out that you still have to make up another assignment, then you have to send a new email, not the old one. And then you tell me to disregard the old one, okay?
Okay, no problem. Because my email included like the attendance, because I don't think you fixed that either. But I'll resend it after tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. All right. What's wrong with your attendance?
I told you, you're missing some of the classes that I attended. Something's not right.
Okay, when we come into the class, I think next week we'll meet in the campus. Hopefully,
Okay.
that will be good. We can figure that out.
Okay.
Excuse me, I have another question. The assignments that you sent me to do, like makeup, when is that due?
If you read the question, if you read I put a message before the questions. If you read it, I put the due date there.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right. You guys have a nice evening.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you for resubmission, for allowing resubmission.
Of course. Have a nice evening.
Okay.